55. Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean, spelled like Jean.
And my name is John with a silent H. Welcome to episode 55.
55.
55.
My girlfriend is
55. My IQ? 55. How many of you guys remember that video? That was before
YouTube.
That was before YouTube existed. What was it, on E-Bombs World?
Yeah.
Was it that or Albino Black Sheep? Do you remember Albino Black Sheep?
Yeah.
Those two, oh my goodness.
We started a podcast just so we can get to episode 55.
This is the last episode.
Yeah, we just
55.
we
All right,
just
thanks
wanted
for
to-
listening. See you guys later.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy. Okay, first of all, this was not me, but people would email stuff, and that was like the first viral videos.
Yeah.
Or
That's how videos went viral back in the day.
Or
was
like
emailing them to each other.
and then you would get those emails that were like, email this to 10 people if you want to be accepted into heaven.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to hell for
Yeah.
that because I never replied.
No, I mean,
It blows me away that people still get tricked into that. Because there was, the Costco thing that was going around
oh my
quite
gosh.
a bit?
Yeah, and then it was Lululemon.
Oh my gosh, that
What-
one was bad.
Stories.
On Instagram, when people, I honestly...
Was it a story or was it a post?
It
I think
was a post.
Yeah.
When people started posting that, I lost a lot of respect for a lot of people because I was just like, you really think that's how, or Nike was the even worse one because it was at the time when I was like tagging Nike and all that stuff, like kind of trying to be like, maybe I can get them to sponsor me. Never worked.
So what are you talking about? What are you saying?
So there was so it was like the new trend of those chain emails. So on Instagram, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember this. There was like these posts that were going around where it was Lululemon or Nike is looking for new athletes. So post this on your story and tell us why. Yada yada yada, and maybe you'll become an athlete, or you'll become an ambassador, and tag, yeah. So, and no joke, so many of my friends were posting these things on their stories and on their posts, and I was getting tagged in them constantly because people were like, "This is your chance to work with Nike," and I was just like, "You guys are idiots! Like, come on, how are you getting tricked by that?" And then apparently this Costco one, it was like. Something like you had to actually give them. I think you had to actually give them information. Like the Instagram thing was pretty harmless. Like it was just a post. I don't even like. Why do people even do those? Like what is the point of starting that?
I don't know.
Like seriously though.
I think people get off on it.
Yeah,
like
it's weird.
Yeah, like people enjoy. Like,
I think they just
the whole idea of like catfishing, like where it's like you.
Oh, I have a story about catfish.
Yeah, so do I. But it's
Mine's very good.
Mine's better.
We'll see. I'm going to tell my story. But okay, wait. Before we get into that.
But people, like, they enjoy that, like, rush of, like, deceiving people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. Okay, so, but before we get into that. So, like, and then all these people are posting this stuff, and it's just... It blows my mind that people are still tricked by that. It's one thing if it's a boomer, okay, boomer, they get tricked because they don't understand. But like when it's people,
we had a family friend who it was like an ad, where it was like win an F-150, and it was like early days internet, like we were still using dial-up, and it was like win an F-150, and so they put all their information in and they got scammed. It was like a family friend.
Who? Oh, well.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Put it out to everybody.
Yeah, who was it? Well, his name.
Let me tell you.
His name was.
Let me get him hacked again.
Yeah.
Okay, so my story. This is. I don't know. We had no plans of talking about this, but my story of catfishing. It was back in the AIM days. I used to say, and this is when I was very young. I was maybe 10. Maybe 9 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, I was using chat rooms when I was like 12.
Yeah, so this was the AIM days, and I used, and I mean, I was a little chubby kid, right? So I would say this is how I would catfish people. I would say I'm 13 years old. For some reason, that was the age
Golden
that
age.
I used.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I would say I have like long blonde hair. And I have abs. I would like talk to these girls and act like I was this person. But then I got freaked out because this person was like legit trying to meet me. And like they were like, "Oh, you live here. I know that place. Let's meet here at this time." And I was like, I like broke down. I was like, "I'm not actually 13. I'm a fat little kid." Like I couldn't do it. Like I felt there was some stranger danger, and I believed that it was two people catfishing each other at that moment. Because I don't think it was a pretty girl that I thought it was. Like I'm almost positive it was someone trying to kidnap me. So I think I made the right decision.
when I was in junior high, we had these group of friends. So all of my friends, we were all like little like Good Charlotte, Sum 41,
Like
pop
scene kids
punk.
before that was like a really
Yeah,
big
like
thing.
the next thing we got into was like the
The-
scene.
yeah.
Yeah. So a little pop punk rocker, whatever. And you know, it was Story of the Year in Hawthorne Heights. Those were the bridge.
Until the day I die.
Yeah, so Story of the Year. So I was listening to pop punk, and then Story of the Year and Hawthorne Heights were my favorite bands when I was in 8th grade. I like wore a Story of the Year T-shirt to my 8th grade graduation.
Nice.
And then that had a little bit of screaming, and then the next band I found was Under Oath,
And then
and then it was
mainly
just
yeah.
all I just was all, and then I was a little scene kid.
And
for
then
a
you're
while.
wearing girl pants. And
Yep. And now I still wear skinny jeans. So
yeah, that never went
I haven't
away,
really
which I'm
changed.
glad because
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not wearing Jinko jeans anymore.
I know, yeah.
No,
But
thank you.
when I was in junior high, we thought, you know, during AIM, during AIM, all our friends, we had our chat rooms, we were talking. And chat rooms were how you talk to your friends after school before like text messaging was a thing. I think I got my first cell phone when I was a sophomore in high school, and it was because it was when I got my first job.
Mhm.
And so I
was a senior, I think, and
Yeah.
it was because of you.
I bought
you
I
got it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the way we would do is we would just use the chat room, and one of our friends was like, "Hey, I just met this group of people. They're really cool. They're all, of course, like pre-scene, you know, kids, and they're from Arizona. And so, wow." And then there was this one person, and apparently her name was Haley. And I was like, that girl's really pretty. And so we start messaging, and we're just messaging every single day, all the time, talking to each other. And then some things like kind of started falling apart between the friendships and the information they said, and it kind of got weird. Turns out one of my friends from the junior high had made up this entire group of people online and was like, didn't just deceive me, it was like deceived our entire friend group. And they like created this community of people that don't actually exist. And it was like, when we finally like confronted them about it, it was just the most like, it was the rush. And it was just like, why?
What was the
Would
reason?
you-
Was there a reason?
Just a rush.
They were just like,
Literally the
oh, I
rush.
just like kind
Yeah,
of.
no,
I mean,
yeah.
you were in what, junior high?
I
at
was
this
in 8th
time?
grade, yeah. And so
so
it's just kind of like you're not thinking about the consequences. Someone who doesn't get a lot of attention at school is all of a sudden getting all this attention online because they're acting like 4 people that this entire friendship group is really interested in. And so now they have someone to talk to all the time, even though it's with the pretense of being a completely different group of friends.
Yeah, well, it's crazy, like, when you think about that whole... Because, I mean, that show Catfish is around for a reason, right? Like, people literally get so lost in that, like you said, that feeling of feeling important or feeling like people want to talk to you that they will take it so far as to, like, ruin someone's life or to a point where they're like, okay, I'm going to meet this person, and they believe... oh, they like me so much, they will be able to see past that. I've literally... I guess it's like you don't think, oh, I've lied to them this whole time. It's like it was just the photo that I lied about, but everything that I've said is true about me. So it's like they think, well, if they actually care about me, they'll be able to see past that. It would be truly... I've only seen a couple episodes of Catfish, and it was that show.
I've never seen it. So.
You haven't?
No.
So when we all lived with Mom and Evelyn, our sister lived there, she would watch it, and I'd like walk by, and then it would be like, dang it. I've been hooked, right?
Yeah.
And so never did I see an episode, and I could be wrong, there might be one that's out there somewhere, but like where they would meet the person and they'd be like, oh, that's fine. Like, well, it's okay that you lied to me about the person who you were. But I mean, that has to have happened at least once, right? Where it's like the person lies, and then the person that was lied to somehow is able to like be okay with it.
I'm sure there's like a 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because then the internet wasn't really around that much.
So it's like, I don't know, and it's interesting because, like you said, it's that rush. It doesn't matter if it's artificial or if it's coming from through a screen. It still feels the same in your brain as getting attention in real life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of. I think it feels the same initially,
But
but
then
it's
there's
empty
also-
in real life.
But
Like,
there's the thrill of not getting caught or getting.
That's- yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's another
the
element.
thrill of not getting caught, not just that, but tricking someone too.
Yeah, so like the thrill of the attention and feeling important, and also the edge of you could get caught at any moment. I think those 2 things together. Like, think about some of the most viral videos on YouTube currently. They're stupid prank videos. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's just you're tricking someone, and you're hoping to not get caught, you know? And even if you do get caught, well, guess what? Now it makes an awesome YouTube video and thumbnail. I got arrested by doing a prank.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all attention seeking, all of it.
I'm like thinking of like a scenario where it was two people that end up being catfishes, and they're gonna meet somewhere, and then they just never meet because they're both looking for the
other
person.
Yeah.
And they're just like walking around in circles. Oh man. Okay, so we totally got off topic, but
Well, or imagine this one.
okay, let's hear it.
2 catfish in a river.
This is a great joke, John. Thank you so much for thank you so much for adding to that. Okay, so I actually wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up, but I actually reached out to the person that this happened to, and they were fine with me bringing it up. That was kind of the hang up that I had. I didn't want to bring it up if they, wanted to keep it under wraps, kind of. I mean, they've kind of talked about it on their social media. But my friend Nancy, or Nancy's Journey on Instagram, she recently was kind of like fat shamed at the gym, or just like made fun of, right? And so Nancy is someone that
I got a question.
okay.
Is making fun of someone and shaming them the same thing?
I think
I don't have an answer. I don't know. I'm just like I feel like people have always kind of been rude to each other, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
and so
it's just
some people just make fun. Like, I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm not saying bullying's okay, but like there are elements of like people just kind of brushing someone off or not really thinking about them. And it's like, instead of saying, well, they weren't thinking of me, they go, well, they shamed me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying her situation's not that either, but
yeah. I mean, I think that there definitely is, for sure. And I think people use the word shame. Like, I am definitely someone that gets annoyed when people use the word fat shamed out of context.
Yeah, I think shamed has become...
Well, people, like, I think I get where you're coming from, right? Like, it's not being fat shamed if a clothing store doesn't make a size shirt that you wear, right? Like, I never, even when I was at my heaviest, I wore a size 5X, sometimes 6XL. I wouldn't say, and I worked at the Van shoe store, right? They only went up to a 2XL. So I wasn't even able to wear the clothes of the store that I worked at, which was very annoying, right? But I didn't think they were shaming me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't call it shaming. It was just like, I outgrew them.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. So I do 100%. I think that there are people that use that out of context. Okay,
but keep on going.
But
Right.
so Nancy, I don't think
I'm not saying hers is out of context.
and I don't think you are. I don't think that that's what she experienced. And so, Nancy, if you don't know who she is someone that's losing weight. She's been on a journey. Literally, her name on Instagram is Nancy's Journey, right? And she's definitely struggled with, she hasn't had her journey hasn't been very linear. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and she struggled through trying to lose weight. And a big problem I think that she's had is she's very open and shares a lot of stuff online, and I think that's been very difficult for her, because when you are a weight loss influencer, I use that in quotes, you are dealing with a lot of extra crap. Like, you just are, right? I've been lucky that it hasn't really affected me as far as my weight loss journey is concerned. I'm able to not let it affect me there. There's definitely been other things that it's affected me in, which you've seen. But for her, it's affected her journey. It's made her not want to go to the gym. It's made her struggle with maybe regaining some weight, stuff like that, right? So right now, she is currently killing it. She's been going to the gym. I've been seeing her post a lot more. She's been a lot more frequent on Instagram. That's something I've noticed. Like, when she's doing well, she's on Instagram a lot more. When she's not, she kind of disappears. So she's been going to the gym. She actually recently, I think she got like signed with Buff Bunny, which is Heidi, what's her name? Heidi Summers. She's like a big influencer. She's Christian Guzman's like boyfriend. She has
she's Christian Guzman's boyfriend,
girlfriend. And she has her own clothing line. Very, very, very big influencer. It's very cool that she has Nancy on there, right? She's a plus size woman. She's making workout clothes to make women feel confident in the gym, so they don't have to wear big baggy clothes, right? So great. I think it's awesome, and I'm very happy for Nancy, and I think that it's great. So she's been going to the gym. And she films herself, right, because she is an influencer, and she like shows her workouts. And I think it's really cool that she's able to show people, hey, you don't have to look like XYZ to be able to do workouts or to feel confident in the gym, right? And so she was sent this video, which I'll show it to you, and we'll put it up on the screen for the people that are watching. But someone posted this video, and so for those of you that can't see it, it is a video of someone filming her from far away, and she is doing sled pushes, right? And on the screen, the person wrote, "All this girl does is record every set she does," and then in quotes they say, "I don't know why I'm still fat. I go to the gym every day." Right? So they're basically saying she's saying that, right? So this person, I get so mad about this, filmed her without her knowing, right? She is at the gym working on herself. Like, I don't know if this guy knows her. It doesn't seem like he does. And he's making fun of her for literally, he's calling her fat as like a being lean, but she's going there to work on herself and like work on that. And then this person is making fun of her. It makes me furious because she saw it. She ended up seeing it, right? So I asked her about talking about this, and I asked her, "Can you send me that video?" Because she posted this on her story, right? So she saw that, and it's affected her. She hasn't been on Instagram very much. And I know, I even talked to her. I was like, "Hey, would you like to maybe do an interview? Because I think that would be cool, right? Like for you to be able to share your story." And she's like, "Honestly, not right now. I don't want to talk about it, but I want you to talk about it." Mm-hmm. And so I know that this is affecting her in a very negative way, which is unbelievably frustrating to me because she is there working on herself. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about that?
I think that, like, it's more than. First of all, I agree with you. She's there. She's working on herself, and that for someone to do something like that is just completely jacked up. And I think it also feeds into the fact that this guy thinks he's going to get some laughs by his buddies, you know. And so since he's alone and he's not snickering with them in the corner, he's going to post it so that his buddies can see it. And I think it's just something like, again, I'm going to go right back to what we started the podcast with. Like, I think that people are willing to do anything for a little bit of extra attention. Mm-hmm. And so this person, like, hurt people, you know? And so this person probably deals with some crazy insecurity. Like, and I don't know, I don't know them, but like to stoop like that, to stoop so low to do something like that, they probably deal with some crazy insecurity. And so they feel like if they can get their friends to laugh at something they did, then they're worthy, you know? And it's just hurting people. And I think that it's terrible, and I don't think it's good at all. If that, I don't know.
Great.
I don't
Great
like
insight.
I don't like it.
I don't like it's poopy. No, but like
but I'm definitely not as like, I think that they're an idiot, and then I move on.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not my space, and so I don't have as much.
I think that I get so upset about it because
passion.
I get messages every day of people being like, "I'm afraid to go to the gym," literally because of that.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm the first one to say there are some people that there's one thing about like going to the gym, working on yourself, and then being filmed without someone like letting you know, making fun of you. There are definitely people that do stuff at the gym that deserve to be like, I think, deserve to be made fun of. Like, I think there's some things, and we'll get into that. And I want to bring something up that I see at the gym. That, I mean, maybe I'm a hypocrite, but like, when it's that, like when it's someone that's obviously working on themselves, and now Nancy is definitely more comfortable than probably most other people in her position would be. But when it's pretty obvious that the person's kind of uncomfortable, when it's pretty obvious that the person is there to work on that thing that you're making fun of, like it just blows my mind that you would be making fun of. Like it would be like someone making fun of someone that goes to the doctor to get something fixed. It's like, what is like they're there to fix the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it truly blows my mind. And she even,
I think the hard thing is like with weight loss, with lifestyle transformation, like it doesn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. It takes a long time. So all this guy sees is the past few weeks he's seen her.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
absolutely.
That's all he sees, and he's expecting that there's going to be this crazy transformation. Whereas like, you know, someone goes to the doctor and they have a broken arm, they walk out with a cast. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. You know, but someone who goes to the gym, they get a workout and they come out, I mean, they look a little sweatier, but it's that roll of
Takes time.
yeah, it's that roll of paper towels. You take one off and the roll doesn't look any smaller, but you keep on doing it and it eventually happens. And so I think that I don't know. I think
So I messaged her, right? We were talking about it, and she said, "This is what she said. This is what like she gets it. I think So she said, "I'm glad it was me and not someone else. I can get through it, and I'll go back to the gym. But so many people messaged me saying it's happened to them and they haven't gone back. And like when I heard that, that broke my heart because I 100% believe that because there are just like I just don't understand what he was getting out of that other than maybe a couple cheap laughs, which I guarantee that's all it was, right? Like that's all he was trying to get. And I doubt that, if we're playing
a little
advocate,
insecure boy who wants to make his buddies laugh.
And if we're playing devil's advocate,
assuming it's a guy,
it was. She said. Playing devil's advocate, right, as much as I can, which is kind of hard. It's like I doubt that he knew she was going to see it, so I don't think he was trying to actually hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
Which makes him a coward for sure. But I don't think he was like, I want to make this girl feel uncomfortable because I've talked to her and she feels uncomfortable going to that gym if she sees that guy, right? And like, imagine like that's a weird feeling because I'm not sure if she knows exactly who it was.
Yeah.
So it's like, which one of these people that were at the gym that day is the person that did that to me, right? And it's like, if she does know exactly who it is, that's kind of scary for a woman. You know what I mean? Like this guy obviously has some sort of mental vendetta against me or like obviously thinks that like, because if you do that to someone, you definitely feel like you're better than them, right? And so that's a weird feeling. So like she's uncomfortable to go back to that gym, which I totally understand. So she said she wants to talk to the manager of the gym and try and get that guy kicked out. And I am 100% for that. I don't think that guy deserves to go there anymore.
Yeah.
Like that is breaking one of the cardinal rules of the gym. And like, so this is, and again, like we talk about CrossFit and we definitely are those people that are like, we love CrossFit, right? And we do. This would never happen in a gym like that.
No.
And so like that's one of like the things that I try and let people know when they're thinking about starting CrossFit. And they're like, I'm nervous. I'm like, this is the best gym to go to if you're nervous, a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
Because everyone is like, imagine if someone did that at Darkside, what would happen? Like people would be upset at that person. Like we wouldn't let them back in our gym, right? It would never happen. Like I could never see that actually happening. So it's like it's just a completely different atmosphere because at those corporate gyms, it's like you're there as a person, you're just using the equipment. At a CrossFit gym, you're there for the community almost,
Yeah. When you're at a gym, there's no supervision. It's all just kind of like, here's some stuff, pay us to use it, go at it, And it's like where there is community, there are guidelines. In order for communities to exist, there are rules that everyone agrees with. And that is the only reason why a community can form. If no one agrees with any of the rules, then it's not a community, it's an anarchy. And so like you think about people who join an HOA or they join, it's like because there's a set rule and those are the rules that they want to live by or they're forced to live by. And that is what allows that community to thrive and to function. And so within that CrossFit gym, you're not getting a gym. You're not getting, this like one person watching over this wild sea of people.
Hooligans.
Yeah, but you're paying for that community. You're paying for that coach every single day to be there to observe. And so I think that's part of the reason why CrossFit and it doesn't have to be CrossFit, but community-based fitness works so well is because everyone agrees to a set like standard, and that is what allows the community to thrive. I mean, as soon as someone steps out of line of that standard, it becomes very like, no, we're not going to allow this. Yeah,
and I'm again, like you said, I'm sure it'd be the same for like Orange Theory or F20, whatever it's called, F45 or whatever. Like, it's all kind of similar. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to bring that up and it's just something that kind of like really bothered me. But
what would you do if you saw it happen?
If I saw it happen and I could like see the guy like kind of smiling,
you knew,
and
like if you like, let's just say in a moment you just happened to have complete clarity, you saw a phone, you saw the filming,
and I knew for sure what was going on. okay, a couple things that need to be said before I get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, when I go to those gyms, usually I've taken pre-workout.
Yeah.
And I get pretty intense, right? So, like, I'm definitely not super chill and zen. I'm like, not ever mean, but I'm very focused. So if I saw that, I would probably, I would make a scene, I think. And I would make that person feel horrible for trying to do that to someone. But I don't know. And again, that's maybe what I would do. Maybe I would think about doing that.
Yeah.
But then I'd think, okay, chill out. Because if I make a scene, everyone's going to look.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to look at the person that doesn't want to be looked at, right? That's getting filmed.
Yeah.
And they're going to be looking at what I'm doing. Even if they're like, yeah, screw that guy. Like, you keep doing your thing. I know me. I would be like, this is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's someone standing up for me, right? Like, this is horrible. Don't do that. But if there was a way I could go up to them and grab them by the shoulder and just grab their phone and just silently break it over my knee or something like that, that would be what I would want to do.
Or like slowly walk them to the manager.
Yeah,
or
just like grab them firmly and grab the back of their neck, right?
Let's
and
go.
just like I need to bring you over here because it is such an egregious like you're stealing someone's confidence when you do that, you know? And like you're stealing someone's like free will. Like I really feel like it's just so wrong. Like it's one of the things that is just so wrong to me. That's why I get so fired up about it because there are definitely there's different people at the gym, but there are people that are obviously not super comfortable there. And I'm not saying Nancy because I mean we're kind of talking about it. Know what I mean? We've moved on from her. She's definitely more confident than a lot of people are. But like there are definitely people that have been filmed and made fun of that are obviously very uncomfortable being there and they're just trying to get there, right? They're just trying to work on themselves. And then for someone that feels like they belong, right? Oh, I'm a gym guy. I'm going to make fun of this person even though that's the same person that is like, "Oh man, I can't believe these people are so overweight. Like they should work out." But then when they come to the gym, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe these people are at the gym trying to work out." Like, it's so frustrating. So I think that's kind of what I would do. Like, if I knew 100% that's what was going on, I would really try and not make a scene. I think that my first thought would be to, like, really try and shame the person that's doing it. But then if I tried to do that, I think it would just bring too much attention that probably the person that's being filmed wouldn't want.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I have a problem where I seek confrontation.
Yeah, you're much more confrontational than I am.
Yeah.
Like much more, just naturally.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. Like how like when we start arguing, I'm usually like I'm done.
Yeah.
And I leave, or I'll just stop talking, and then Jean will continue to argue.
But I'll even I confront people when they're just doing stupid things. Like that's like kind of like what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like why do you think that's fine? So probably what I would do is stand in the middle of them, stand in between them and the camera, and then just kind of like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Because now he got that on camera, and if he posts it,
Which I doubt he would. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's me going like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing that? Or something along the lines of like getting just kind of trying
good.
to get
like
in
that.
between.
Mhm.
But I definitely would feel the desire to nut shot.
Just punch him right in the nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's good. So kind of like what I was okay, well, before we get into that,
What would you do? Leave it in the comments
leave
below.
it in the comments down below. Thank you very much for listening to episode 55. No. So I have this weird I feel this sense of connection with people that I see at the gym that are very large, right? Like very, very overweight. And because like I always want to put my hand on their knee and be like, yo, shout out to you being here. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, look at this was me at a few years ago. Like if you keep staying in here, like you could get to where I am, you could get past me. I'm not trying to say I'm great or anything like that, but you know what I mean? And so like a few days ago I was at the gym, 24-hour fitness, and there was this really big dude, probably over 400 pounds. And I saw him kind of come in, and he was doing a lot of isolation exercises. Very like he was. I mean, like it's like one of those dudes like so large that it's like everyone kind of is looking, not in a mean way. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know if that sounds bad, but I definitely wasn't looking in like oh my gosh. It's like more I'm looking.
He's noticeably large.
Yeah, noticeably large. And when I'm looking, it's like I'm always like in my head. So okay, let me explain the situation. So I was doing some tricep extensions, right? And there's this big like machine in the middle, or like towards the end of the gym. That I mean, sure they're at most 24s, right? It's like there's tricep extensions, there's lat pull downs on the other side. It's like row, and in the middle you could do like other tricep stuff or like cable. You know what I mean? The whole cable situation, right? So I'm standing there doing tricep extensions, and he walks up, and I can see him, and he starts doing lat pull downs, right? He gets his whole thing set up, and the whole time I was like sitting there, and I was like, I really wanted to say something, but I struggle with like, is that weird? You know what I mean? Like, is that rude, or is that like? Because I remember. So there's this.
What did you want to say?
I just wanted to be like, hey man, I'm glad that you're in here.
So you weren't gonna like, correct his form or
No. I wouldn't have cared about that.
Yeah.
I would have been like, hey man, I'm just glad you're in here. I used to be 360 pounds.
Yeah.
Showed him a picture. Just encourage him. Really, that's it. Right.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because it actually happened to me when I was at pretty much my heaviest. I was on the elliptical. This older guy that I ended up seeing at the gym constantly, probably 60, maybe close to 70 years old. He was on the elliptical. He walked up to me, and I was wearing big headphones, so he motioned me to take my headphones off, and I was like, the heck? You know what I mean? So I took them off. He's like, hey, man, I just want to say I've seen you in here for the past few weeks, and I just want to say good job. Like, keep it up. If you ever have any questions, just ask me, right? Mm-hmm. And I just remember being like, nice. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, I could see someone else wanting to be like, I don't want anyone to notice I'm here, right? Like, my goal is to get in and out without any interaction with a human. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people do that. And so the reason I say this is because I do that. If I'm going into a situation where I'm maybe if I've been having really bad anxiety for a day and I've just been struggling and I'm like, I need to get food because I'm very hungry. When I go to the place, I don't talk. I don't try to be rude, but it's I don't want people to notice that I'm there, right? I want to get in and out as fast as possible, as easy as possible without any interaction. And so I feel like I could see someone feeling that way about the gym, right? They're like, I don't really want to go, but I know I should, and I'm just going to try and get in and out without anyone noticing me. And then you're doing lat pull downs, and this guy comes up to you and is trying to tell you how happy he is that you're there. It's obviously my intention isn't to be anything other than encouraging, but I don't want it to come off as condescending at all,
Yeah.
So I see it happens quite a bit. Once every 2 weeks I'll see somebody that maybe I want to say something to. Maybe not even that much, but quite a bit to where I'm I never know what to do, and usually I don't say anything. And I always I think in my head, should I have said something?
Well, I'm going to be very Disney movie, but you underestimate the power of a compliment. Mm-hmm. I think even if someone is at the gym and they just want to be in and out, the fact that someone sees them and believes in them, mm-hmm. Someone believing in you is some of the most powerful motivation mm-hmm. out there. You don't have to feel it yourself. You don't have to believe in yourself. But if someone can see a finish line further than you can, it gives you a little bit better focus and gives you a little bit better vision. Mm-hmm. And I think that there is a lot of power. There's so much power in a compliment, especially in a culture that we were just talking about is so easy to make fun of and to tear down. Mm-hmm. That when someone hears I like to imagine when someone says oh, that's a breath of fresh air. It's I like to imagine someone's literally holding their breath, and they're just holding their breath and holding and holding. And so when they get that breath of fresh air, it's literally it's hope for the next time that they get another breath. And so I would encourage you, even I don't know if the anxiety thing is a perfect parallel. I think when someone's at the gym, if they're there and you notice, and you can not only can you give them hope, but you can show them where you came from, mm-hmm. And then where they can achieve to, or that they're not forever going to be how they are. Even if for them in their mind they're like, well, I'll never become that, but I can become this.
Mhm.
You know, like if you can just kind of extend their foresight just a little bit further ahead, I think that's a win. And I think that there's a lot of power that comes in complimenting and doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder how most like. I wonder what the consensus would be with people that are uncomfortable at the gym.
Comment below.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. Like, it's one like if you're uncomfortable, obviously your gut reaction is like, no, I don't want someone to say something to me. But it's like if they're just saying a compliment and then they're leaving, they're not like bothering you or like keep trying to, you know what I mean, sell you on their personal training or something like that. They're just like, hey man, good job, and they leave you alone. That's not really too much of an interaction to where it's like I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, when I was in high school, when I was a freshman, this is a church story, but it applies. And I would only go to youth group because there were pretty girls there. There was a couple girls that I had big crushes on. Not nearly as big
John's
of a
a
crush
big
as,
crusher.
Yeah, not nearly as big of a crush as I have on my wife, but
He had a crush on her before he ever knew her.
yeah. So I would go to youth group because I wanted to hang out with them, and I would go to camp because they were going to be there, and that's like 3 days of just hanging out, with them. Yeah, and then there's worship and Bible studies and stuff,
Yeah.
but mainly we're hanging out. And one day I was just at youth group, minding my own business. Music was going on. I was kind of looking at the worship team like, oh, that'd be cool, I'd love to play an instrument one day. And then the youth pastor came up to me and he's like, Jean, I just feel like God has a call of leadership on your life. This could be right. This could be wrong. I don't know. But I just really feel that on you. That you've got leadership in your future.
Mm-hmm.
And like, knowing the history, knowing our family history and where we come from, like, that was like the first time an adult male saw something in me and then went like, and then affirmed it and then gave me a vision for something greater than me. Like that moment, I remember it still today. It was 15 years ago or whatever.
Old.
Yeah. And 16 years ago. And like to still remember that night and how that night completely changed the trajectory of my life. And so like there is so much power in just seeing something in someone and then saying it.
Yeah, so then you started going to youth group for God and girls.
Yes.
The double G's.
The double G's. No, I was going for God, girls, and the double G's.
We've ruined that story now. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is the
Hold on, a double G. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that'd be painful. So this is you were like super encouraging and nice and Disney movie. I'm gonna be the complete opposite of that and tell a story that I've wanted to tell for quite a while and is literally the complete opposite of what I've been talking about with Nancy. So, like I said, there are some people at the gym that I think deserve maybe not to be made fun of and shown, but at least talked about. So, I need to preface this story, or at least share a little backstory before I get into it. So, the 24-hour fitness I go to is very interesting. There are very many. I mean, it's like any corporate gym, right? There's tons of characters. Everyone is very different. That people are there for different reasons, right? I will say this: there is no boxing classes at 24-hour fitness. Boxing is not a thing there. Okay, just put that out there. So after I do most of my bodybuilding workouts, I'll do the stair climber, right, for like 30 minutes. It's my cardio. I just enjoy it. Listen to music. We've talked about it on the podcast before, right? Watch videos. And a healthy amount of people watching, right? Something that our mom really enjoys doing that I definitely also enjoy doing. I watch the dudes that I think are funny. I watch people with some really bad form. It's actually pretty. There's some people it's pretty bad, and it's like at the same thing. I'm like, I really want to say something to this person, but I understand that could be seen as me being like, I'm better than you, and we fix this. Because most of the people that have the bad form think they have great form. So if you bring anything up, it's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, okay, I've never said anything to anyone about their form. I'm not that guy. The pretty girls, everything, right? Just look at everybody. So there's this one guy Now I want to explain what he looks like before I explain what he does. Okay? Just because I think it's important. So this guy has a beard, and I would say 8 out of 10 times that I've seen him, he's wearing a American flag tank top. Okay? Shorts, like kind of like the long socks, and then some shoes, whatever shoes. But also he has a Make America Great Again red hat. Okay, you're getting the picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So the stairs that I'm on are like towards the back of the gym, and then in front of that is like this functional training area where people have the bad form of the squats, and some people do like Olympic lifting. They actually have a very, very, very nice Olympic lifting platforms and bars and weights, bumper plates that you can drop and no one ever says anything, which is surprising. Like I'll do snatches and no one says anything when I drop it from overhead, which is very nice. Padded, right? Very nice area. But then past that, there are some like cable machines that have like plastic cables. Like they have one that's for flies, one that you can do lat pull downs on, and there's like two different handles that you grab. There's one for shoulders, so the straps are on the ground that you push up, right? So there's these plastic cables that like you can't take them off, the plastic handles. So this guy will be shadow boxing the plastic cables, punching them. Yeah, plastic handles, punching them as hard as he can. Not like kind of punching them or like punching around them, like literally uppercutting these things. And I've wanted to film it. I never have. But I think there's people, like I said, there are people that do things for attention at the gym. And the reason that it bothers me, because it'd be one thing if you were doing that in a corner, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, do your thing. But he does it. It's like in the middle of the gym, and he's moving around rapidly, right? To where it's like he's making it known, don't come in my area, right? He doesn't do any lat pull downs at all. So it's not like he's doing a workout and then just while he's resting, he's doing like literally he's going there to punch these plastic handles, right? It's just so strange to me. But the thing that bothers me the most is how standoffish he is. The way he stands and the way he moves, he's waiting for someone to say something to him. Like, it's very apparent that he wants someone to come up to him and say, hey, stop doing that. That's not what that's for. So then he can be like, we're going to fight now. Like, it's very obvious. The whole reason, maybe this is me putting things on him, but I've seen other people, like, I'll look at them, because we're both looking, right? And they're just like, what?
Yeah.
And I've thought about going up to the people that work there, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they see it, so obviously they must not have an issue with it, right? Because it's a spectacle. Like, everyone is looking, right? And again...
How long does he box for?
Dude, long time. Like, whole time I'm on stairs, he is boxing.
Yeah.
It's like a show. It's nice to watch. It's fun. It's a good time.
So it's at least 30 minutes?
Like, I mean, okay, maybe not the whole time, but like, I'll be like, for a good, it's not like he's there for 2 minutes and then leaves.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be there there was one time I went to the gym just to do stairs because I was like, I just want to do something. So I did the stairs for an hour. He was on it for legit at least 30 minutes that time. Just punching these plastic handles. So like I said, there are some people, like the Nancy Story and the other people like that like are just going to the gym. They're not trying to have attention on them, and they're just doing their thing. And I don't think they should be made fun of. But there are other people at the gym that I think they're there for people to look at them, and they want attention. And so he has my attention. It's just not a good thing, I don't think. And I just don't understand why he has to actually punch the handles as hard as he possibly can. Again, I don't think it would even really bother me that much if he was doing the same thing but not actually hitting these handles. I'm just like, that can't be good for your knuckles to be hitting. Like, they're not metal. It's just plastic. It's very light plastic.
Yeah.
And it's like, how rude for the equipment. Like, you're just punching this plastic equipment for no reason.
Can I add some, what if you meet him, okay? And then it turns out that when he was a child, both of his parents were killed
by a plastic
by
handle.
a plastic handle. And it is,
then I would, if that was,
and it is his personal vendetta. And it's not just any plastic handle. It was on that machine. And it is his personal vendetta to box that handle to death.
then I would join him. I would be like, all right, well, now I know.
We're in.
I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in your corner. Whenever you get tired, I'm going to be the guy that gives you some water, pat your face off, if that's really what's going on. What it seems like to me is he just wants some attention, especially wearing what he's wearing. Come on, the Make America Great Again hat in the gym.
Yeah, that's a bold.
So
that's a bold strategy. Cotton.
This is not a political thing, but where we live, it is definitely more conservative than most of San Diego. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
But it's not all conservative. So wearing that hat and doing what he's doing, maybe it's wrong of me to get the certain message from it, because even if I was the world's biggest Trump supporter, I don't think I would be like, that's cool. Even if it was like an Obama hat, right? I would still feel the same way about what he was doing. It just...
The MAGA hat makes it worse for me, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why does it make it worse?
It's just the MAGA, what has been portrayed as MAGA. I think is just I don't care about getting into it, but it's just enough. It's enough for me to think it's worse. It just,
understandable.
It adds to it.
And especially in the gym, right? Like he's like, you're making a choice. Like, this is the hat. I know when I go to the gym, I make a choice of these are things I want to sweat in. And maybe in his head, he's like, I don't care about this hat, so I'm going to wear it and sweat in it. But it's like the gym I go to and the 24 that I'm at the time, because I go during peak hours just because it works out for my second workout. You know what I mean? It just ends up being peak hours. It doesn't really bother me that much. I'm able to usually. But peak hours, so there are a lot of people there. So I think it'd be different if it was like a dead gym that no one went to, right? It's like when you know when you're going to this gym, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to see you, right? And again, it's not like I've always said, like, when you're at the gym, people freak out too much and they think everyone's looking at them and they freak out a little bit too much. And I've always said in videos too, like, nobody is looking at you as much as you think.
Yeah.
That guy, they are.
Yeah.
Like, it's different with him, because when you make a scene like that, you can't. And I think he knows that, right? Like, it's like something he knows, and he's doing that for the attention. I feel, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I truly struggle with looking at the other side and being like, oh, maybe he doesn't think people are looking. Because, like, the other thing is, like, it's hard to give the context without people seeing it, right? It's like every time he's done, he does the thing where he, like, because he's like boxing this handle with his back to most people. Right when he finishes, he turns around, right? And it's like he's looking for people to look at him. Like, that are staring at him. Like, so every time he turns around, I, like, avert my eyes, because, like, when he's doing it, I am dead staring. Like, there's no, like, it's dead staring. My face is, like, mortified. Like, what is, because I remember the first time I saw him doing it, I was like, what is going on? And then it's just become normal. Now when I see him do it, I'm like, oh, great. Some entertainment. Yeah. You know? And he's like the guy, like, I've walked by him and he just, like, stares at everyone that walks by him. You know? Like, it's a different vibe than, you know, like, again, I wouldn't post it on my story and be like, look at this idiot, like, ha ha ha, he's so stupid. I still think that that's not the right thing to do, but I think talking about it is okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's got to be the other side of insecurity. Like, it has to be. Like, when you're so overly exuberant in what you do so that everyone can look at you and notice you. It's just it has to be the flip side of insecurity. Like, this is how people will notice me. You know, like, or pride, I don't know. Like, it's just like to be at a place where you think, I'm going to go to the gym and make sure everyone can see me, and if anyone looks at me, I'm going to challenge them. It's just like, what are you trying to prove? Are you trying to prove that you are tough? Like, good for you. You're tough. You can punch a plastic handle. But, like, what is really going on? And I would never talk to the person, but I would be very interested.
I would love for you to go up to him and be like, Excuse me, sir.
Like, hey, I'm gonna make a documentary.
What's wrong with you?
You wanna? Who hurt you?
Right? It's truly a sight to behold, for sure. And like I wish more people could see it so they could understand exactly what I'm saying, because it's hard and it's like so easy for people to be like, "Oh, you're just being mean" or whatever. It's like you just got to see this and like feel the vibes. As much as I hate that word, but like feel the energy that's coming off, and like you can just tell, right?
You're speaking my language.
And I'm just
vibes and energy.
I'm just surprised that no one that works there has said anything to this guy. Like, really. I think it's because they just don't want to get into a fight. Like, they don't care, right? They're just personal trainers at a 24-hour fitness. Like, they're like, I don't know, it's not my equipment.
Yeah, I think that's a good part of it. There's no ownership.
Yeah.
There's no, no ownership, no stewardship. It's just kind of like, well, I don't get paid enough to get in a fight, like, and so that's probably a big part of it. I don't understand. I almost got a job as a barista this week.
That was quite the transition.
I looked at my cold brew.
Oh, so tell me why you almost got a job as a barista.
Well, you guys know that I work part-time, which is a big insecurity of mine that I flaunt out there because I don't want anyone to feel like they have the upper hand on me.
You just walk up to me.
It's literally,
hi, my name's Jean. I work part-time.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
That's the insecurity part where it's like I don't want to feel like I don't want someone like talking to me like, oh, like I have a full-time job. What do you have? Like,
yeah, that's how conversations go.
Well, they go like, what do you do? And so it's like, I'm very like upfront about it, but I also like I'm not afraid to name my insecurity. Like I'm not afraid to be like, hey,
I think we're similar with that.
I struggle with this.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna let you know, so that you don't feel like it's something you have to tiptoe around.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like now it's out there. Let's talk about it. Like or. Now it's out there, and you have extra hours for me. So let's do this. And so you and I were sitting at a coffee shop because I had a day off because I was part time, and we were both editing videos and
hashtag grinding.
Yeah, and we were talking. I was talking to the barista while they were making, and I was a barista for like 6 years. And they were like, "Yeah, we're just so like understaffed right now. I had to come back because her parents own it. She hasn't worked there in a while." And I'm like, "Oh, welcome back. Good to see you." And then she's like, "Yeah, we're just really understaffed. I'm doing this plus my other job." And then I was just kind of like, "Man, I miss being a barista." And she was like, "Apply. Like, we'll give you the job. Just apply first." And then she's like, "I'm not the one who's doing hiring. I'll let my sister know, but just do it." And then while we were editing, the sister walked up and was like, "So."
Yeah, I was very confused because I hadn't
you had no context there.
Yeah.
And she just walked up and goes, "So you want to be a barista, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of do." And it's like I do miss barista, like barista.
It's a fun job.
The process of barista.
Yeah, and like talking, you get to meet.
You get to talk to people, and you're just like each drink is a routine. You're just in routine while you're making them and talking to people, and you get the rush, like in the morning or at night. But it's kind of crazy because I have been stressed and open about my current situation and how it's not where I want to be. Now, I'm not letting it. I find myself being discouraged sometimes, but I just need to remind myself that it's a process and I'm working towards I am working at something very hard. So when I get that, it is going to be very sweet. I am working very hard for a specific thing. And that day, we, like I said, we're doing we're at the coffee shop, and then we end up going to an event that night. So there's a company they called Sport RX. They make like they specialize in glasses and sunglasses for active people. So
mainly sunglasses.
Yeah. So they make these like glasses that go inside of snowboard goggles so that you can see while you're snowboarding. They make special they have sunglasses that are very they have rubber on them to keep onto your face while you're biking
if you're racing motorcycles
or running
motocross or whatever. They have inserts that you could still wear your prescription glasses, but put them on and still wear the helmet, because like that's a big issue, I guess,
Yeah.
with a lot of people.
Yeah. So they got in contact with us because someone that you were squatting with.
It was literally, so this is the guy that I met at that 24.
Yeah.
He has been watching the videos for a while, and he was like, "Hey, I work for this company. Like, we're into fitness. Like, maybe we could do something." And then,
Yeah, and I wear glasses. So
I was like, "Oh, that sounds really cool." So then, what was it, like 2 months ago? We went and like visited them in their the studio, in their space, you know,
Their office.
where their offices are. They also have like a retail store, and it was really cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
And so then they released they like did a partnership with a local company, and so it was like a big release party with that company, and so we went in support.
It was a local brewery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and by just this guy next to me, so barista is kind of always my fallback job. The thing I really care about is I want to make videos for companies and organizations that make an impact in the world, a positive impact in the world. Like, I don't want to just make videos to make videos. Like, I want to help tell a story that makes an impact. That is my big thing. And so, and that, whether that's a spiritual, physical, whatever, making an impact. And so this guy is like, "Hey, do you like these sunglasses better or these sunglasses better?"
That's you and Sam, right?
Yeah, me and Sam are just hanging out, and we're like, "Oh, definitely the second one." And then we start talking, and we say how we recently got married, tell our marriage story. Then we start talking about our engagement story, and we show him some pictures, blah, blah. And then he's like, "Okay, my number one piece of marriage advice, which everyone loves to give to newlyweds, and I love it. It's awesome. The number one is preserve your friendship before anything else. Your friendship with each other is the most important thing." He's like, "Me and my wife, we got 2 kids. We love them. But if I had to make the choice, I'd choose my wife." He's like, "She's my ride or die." And so after we were talking, I was just kind of like, man, like, I like this dude. And so he's like, he asked me, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I work at a church. I do video."
Part-time.
Part-time. That's a very important part of the conversation. Because he's like, "No way. I'm actually an executive pastor at a church up in North County," which is like 30 minutes away. And it's a fairly large church.
It's a very large, right?
Very, very large church. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in charge of," basically what he's in charge of is the exact thing that our church is in the middle of right now. And he's like, "I would love to meet with your pastor. No, like, don't worry about, like, no charging, no nothing. Like, I just want to meet and help him through this process." I was like, "Holy moly, this is amazing." He's like, "Now you say you do video." I said, "Yes." And he's like, "We are always looking for video. We're always, always, always looking for video." Again, this is a large church. They have a lot of campuses that do a lot of video.
Things. Yeah.
He's like, "Would you be interested? You mentioned that you're part-time. How much do you work?" "Oh, I work about 25 hours a week." "Would you be interested in me supplementing the rest of your hours in doing video work for our church?" I was just like, until I get to this point where I don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
It was a very much like a short term until you need it. And it was just this like, yes, I would be interested in that. So we exchange information. And it's just like, a lot of the times, the moral of the story. What is the moral of the story? A lot of the times we're afraid to put our insecurities out there because it's our insecurities that make us feel like we are lesser. It is our insecurities that make us feel like we need help. It is our insecurities that make us feel like we're not completely all the way fully whole. But the only way someone is going to know how to help you is if they know what's wrong. The only way someone's going to know how to add some supplemental help or whatever care to your life is by them knowing something is up. And it's like the very, Will Smith says it, like, the best things in life are on the other side of fear. And it's like,
I love Will Smith.
he's a good dude, from, good old Will, Fresh Prince. And so it was just like a really cool like reminder this week, like the same day that I was stressing out and talking and potentially doing that, someone else like is like, "Hey, let's do this."
Yeah.
Like, and it was just like, we are so afraid of our insecurities and we're so afraid of what we view as shortcomings. But actually, when you're in community, it is a good opportunity for someone to be able to come alongside and help you.
Yeah, he was like, "Don't fall back to your side chick. I got you."
Yeah, he's like, "I got you,
You know?
fam."
So I actually have a story from that same event. So you guys know that I can struggle with social anxiety. You know this, Jean, right?
Yes.
And so when we were invited to this release, to this SportX thing that John was talking about, so it was they had teamed up with a local brewery. It's literally like pretty much like right next door to them, and they made their own beer, right? And so this was a release party to that. So when they messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, if you want to come, feel free." At first, my first thought was like, "Nah, I don't want to go to that," because I get very uncomfortable around alcohol, right? And so I
didn't even want to mention what it was just because I didn't know how you would feel about other people
no.
knowing
I think
about-
it's a good story, it's a big deal for me, so I like to share that stuff. So
I, on the other hand, don't.
yeah,
Stress out about it.
Doesn't matter to you. Yeah, you get drunk like every day. So
Almost.
he's drunk
Almost.
right now. No, just kidding. So when at first I was like, I don't know, but then I was like, you know what? I like this company. They're really cool. Everyone that we've met there has been really cool. So I replied, I was like, yeah, I think we're gonna go, right? And they said invite literally anybody. So I did. I invited John, Sam, and our roommate Caleb, and
I was invited without him too.
no, he was invited because me.
I was
I'm
invited
very
without
cool.
him.
But were you?
Because we both went the first time, so yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I was definitely invited without him. Keep on going.
I don't believe you, but whatever. It's fine. You can lie to the whole podcast. No one cares. So, and then that day I was like, once it started getting closer, I wasn't sure if I was gonna go, but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And when we went there, it was so much fun. Like I had such a great time, and like it was
a solid good night.
Yeah.
Like it was wow, this was such a fun night.
And for me, this is very weird to even say on the podcast, but I haven't drank any alcohol, and there's quite a few reasons why. In I don't know many years, and I want to make it very clear I wasn't pressured at all. Like it was completely my choice, but because
we were all shocked.
Because we were there for this release, and I kind of was like interested because I think even when I was younger, because I have drank in the past, it was always like not good beers. You know what I mean? Like Natty Ice, like the worst possible beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I wonder what like a really nice beer tastes like, right?
A craft.
So this
beer.
was what was it called? It was
Pilsner,
right? So it was very light. It was a very light beer, and I ended up drinking it, and it was just that's a big deal to me. And the fact that I was able to do it, I had a great time the whole night. There was no time that I was like, I feel uncomfortable, I want to leave, because there was quite a few people there, probably at least 100, just out and about, like just doing kind of different things. There was a lot of conversations going on, and it's hard to explain to someone that maybe has never struggled with social anxiety, but that exact, if I was in a bad spot, that exact same thing could have thrown me and like really put me in a bad spot. So the fact that I was able to handle it, I was able to have a beer, which sounds so weird, and not feel, there was no guilt. I was actually like, that was nice. Like it didn't taste bad. It wasn't great. Like, no offense, but I'm not a beer drinker. You know what I mean? But
it's still not my favorite thing, but it does grow on you.
Yeah. So, but it was quite a good night for both of us. And I just remember feeling so grateful that I was able to have fun and enjoy that time, and it's nice. That's the thing about, this is completely taking a weird turn, but like the thing with social anxiety is that I think people get so upset about, like, that have it, is that it's, for me at least, like I know that I'm being ridiculous when I'm going, or not ridiculous, but I know that I shouldn't feel the way that I feel. Like I shouldn't be afraid, but it's like I can't help it. And so the fact that I was able, like it's like with anything where you're coming from a spot of maybe, like for me with like working out, the reason I think I enjoy it so much is because there was a time when I couldn't, right? And like there are times when I can't go out, even when it's such a simple thing. It's not like it was a club; it was literally in their parking lot, like it, And we left before 9 p.m. Like we weren't there all night, right? So like, but the fact that I was able to enjoy that time and really have fun, it was just a really good night, and then you were able to make that connection. So that I just kind of wanted to share that story towards the end of the podcast, just so people could.
Yeah. Do you think part of it was the fact that you had a small group of people that you were comfortable with?
Oh, without a doubt.
Within that large group, and that we found a table pretty easy, like a stand-up table that we could all just kind of call home base.
Yeah, I think that was a big part was without a doubt having a good amount of people that were there, because it was you guys, all of the roommates, right? Jean, Sam, Caleb, me, and then there was a friend that I had met at the gym, and so we were all kind of just hanging out, and then their marketing director, what's her name? Brittany. She was there, and like she was kind of popping in and out. But we were all just kind of like hanging out and having a good time. So yeah, I felt like I was definitely like that was my group. I wasn't really talking to other people.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part is like feeling very comfortable and confident with the people you're with. Because like yeah, if it was with a random group of people, I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, I'll have some beer. Like that was a big deal. Like they were like I was like standing there and I hadn't taken a sip, and I had the beer for like an hour before I took a sip because I was like wasn't sure if I was going to, and then
the owner came up and was like, "Hey, do you like it?"
Yeah, so then I took one sip with them, and then I ended up going, like, walking around with a friend, and then the guy who actually made the beer, the person that owns the brewery, he was just telling us about it, and then, like, while he was talking, he wasn't even like, "You should taste it." It was just like, I finished it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. It was fun.
So, tackle your insecurities, and it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. I mean, we all deal with things. We all deal with stuff, but tackle them because, like we just said, the best things in life lie on the other side of fear.
Yep.
See you in the next one.
See ya.
Peace.